If you and your guitar live in a dry environment, for example, fall is coming on right now and we're turning the heater on, remember that wood dries. If you don't have humidification in your house, let's say between 40 and 50% relative humidity, the first thing you'll notice on your guitar will be fret ends sticking out from the edge of the fretboard. The fretboard shrinks a little bit and the metal doesn't. These jagged fret ends are not only uncomfortable when you're sliding up the neck, they can actually cut you. Watch when I take this wooden dowel and drag it along the sharp edges of these frets. See the wood coming off? It's like little razor blades all up and down. That could be skin. You can take care of this problem yourself with a few simple tools, and I'll show you how. And before I go any further, if you like video content like this about guitars, setup and repair, subscribe to our YouTube channel. So now I'm going to take care of these fret ends. I'm going to knock off the edges of them where they're sharp, poking it down to make sure that the butt end of the fret is flush to the wood. And then I'm going to round them off and dress them so they're smooth, good looking and comfortable. And I'm going to do this with the fret end dressing file. It's got two sides with teeth on it, the two flat sides. The other thin edges don't. One is flat and sharp, the other is very round and smooth. You use the sharp side on the bottom to nip off any little burrs created by the initial downstroke. The other side has a safe round edge. If you hit the wood, you're not going to cut it. It's perfect for rolling over the ends of the frets and rounding them off, dressing them, so to speak. Oh, one thing, before you start, protect the area on the finish around the fretboard, that extension over the body. And you'll notice I have two colors of tape. The white tape is called Low-Tack tape, and I live by this tape. I use it anytime I tape off a guitar, because on old finishes it won't pull the lacquer off, which it can on vintage guitars, and it doesn't imprint lacquer. Modern masking tapes, while they're really important, if you put them on a fairly new Gibson guitar, for example, and walk away for 2 hours and you come back and pull it off, the finish can wrinkle and it won't go away. So I've got double tape here. You could use cardboard here. A little cutout of cardboard or paper. You can tape off the edge. Once again, I'll just use this Low-Tack tape. This is just a little extra precaution. So here we go. I'm going to do these fret ends one at a time as I go down the neck. These frets are already beveled from the factory. We're not trying to bevel them as much as we're just trying to knock off any of the flat edge still hanging over. Then we're going to come in and knock off that edge, trying to be very careful and not dent the wood any more than you have to. You're going to touch it. That's just a little rounding stroke. Any little marks left by the file are going to be sanded and polished out. These are going fast because they're not sticking out really far. A lot of times they're way worse than this. In that case, I would use a file like this 6-inch leveling file. One nice thing about this file is being 6 inches long, it's always riding on a lot of frets. There's no way it can dip in and hit the wood. If I had really bad frets, I could be here for an hour trying to file a lot of metal off, so I'd definitely grab that. Okay, I'm ready to polish these up a bit. By the way, this little file is a standalone tool, but it also comes in a set, the Smooth and Shine set. Micro mesh pads, a touch-up stick with 3 grits, and metal fret guards in 3 different widths. You use these for dressing on frets so you don't hit the board, polishing on frets, and I'm going to use the polishers to do the ends of these frets, and it doesn't take long. I'm starting right off with a pretty smooth micro mesh pad. 6,000 grit, very smooth, and I'm not afraid to hit the wood with it, and I like it because it bends. So I'm polishing the edge of the board as well as the ends of the frets. Then I'll follow that up with some 8,000 grit. A super fine grit really makes those fret ends silky smooth and makes your fingers happy when they slide along them. Lastly, I'll take the back side of the micro mesh touch-up stick, which is a very high 12,000 grit, and that will put the final polish on the frets, and even polish up the finish on the wood that I dipped into with my file. I'll try my old dowel test. Won't be no wood cutting going on now. Ooh yeah, that's smooth. That's it. So once again, the main cause of jagged fret ends is dryness. So keep a humidifier in your case. That'll help immensely. And then to solve the problem today, use the fret end dressing file to level the flush ends into the board, nip off the sharp edges, and then crown them and round them off. It feels great, this guitar will play great, and no one's gonna have bloody hands.